Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today is not only famous in the Silver State for his influence in politics, but now he's become nationally renowned as well. Scott Craigie has the rundown.
Today we're going to talk politics, both the legislature and the governor's office, as well as some talk about President Bush with the Wizard of Oz of Nevada politics, Pete Ernaut of R&R Partners.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Bilyeu, Chris Wicker, and Mike Dillon. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program the newly christened Wizard of Oz of Nevada politics, Pete Ernaut, who is partner and president of R&R Partners Public Affairs. Welcome to the program, Pete.
Thanks, Sam.
Let's start out, first of all, on the national scene, if we may. Do the Republicans have a clue who they're dealing with Harry Reid going after him the way they have?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. I would tell you, I think Harry Reid's a very formidable opponent. Clearly, he and the president are having a difference of opinion on a few things. It's making national politics quite exciting, and clearly in Nevada, we have front row seats. So I'm as interested as anybody to watch how this all unfolds.
But you've been watching Harry Reid for many years. I mean, he's the guy that got Jim Jeffords to cross the line there to turn the Senate Democrat. He has got his fingers in every pie in the state of Nevada, and you've seen him do incredible magic for the Democrats on the Hill. Again, is the president underestimating who his challenger is here?
Oh, I don't know if he's underestimating him, but I would say, again, that Harry Reid is a very formidable opponent, and Harry's tough as nails. And, you know, as a Nevadan, I got to say I'm kind of quietly smiling and watching Harry work. He's doing well, and he's doing well for the state of Nevada. And listen, he's a Democrat, the president's a Republican, and at some level they're gonna disagree. So that's what makes the world go round.
Well, Nevada, when the first election came around, was one of the states that put the president over the top. He carried Nevada again, and now it just seems like he's on the warpath with the state. Yucca Mountain, 70% of the billion-dollar federal land sales program he wants to take back to the feds. He wants the casinos to check databases for deadbeat dads before they pay off any jackpots. Are we under siege from the White House?
Oh, no. I think that certainly a lot of the Democrats in the state may want to make that case. But, remember the other guy, in the Kerry campaign, the first thing he did was come out and decide to tax the mining industry into oblivion. So, considering the alternative, I think that, Nevada's in a position where we have some unique industries. We have some unique lands, and it's always going to create some unique problems. But I think the president is a good friend of Nevada, notwithstanding Yucca Mountain. Clearly, we have a disagreement there. But I got to tell you, I don't know if you read the LA Times piece over the weekend, but Nevada's pulling off a tremendous underdog victory on Yucca Mountain between the legal issues and victories that Brian Sandoval was in charge of, and the cohesive effort between Republicans and Democrats from your former boss, Governor Miller, former Senator Richard Bryan, current Governor Kenny Gwinn. They've all banded together, and we've been fighting like crazy for the last 10 to 12 years, and I think we're on the precipice of an enormous victory. And that's something we should all be proud of.
And the LA Times story also pointed out that the key to this is Senator Reid being the minority leader.
Yeah, I think that's just the final nail. And again, very quietly, I am smiling to see Harry do that.
You consider yourself a fiscal conservative?
I do.
Okay, so $2 trillion to get this new Social Security plan going of debt. Does that make sense to you?
Well, listen, I mean, it matters which side of the equation you're on. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, with all the baby boomers getting ready to retire, that the Social Security system cannot take that pressure. There's lots of different issues and lots of different methods of saving it. But right now, I think the debate is mired in the fact that we have a basic disagreement of whether the system's in trouble, which kind of runs counter to common sense. Of course, the system's in trouble. I think the president probably hasn't done a good job of articulating his plan, and the Democrats have done a good job of obfuscating all of that, but unfortunately they don't have a plan. So we're kind of back to where we've been in the last 4 or 5 years, which is the Democrats are in a position of saying, our platform is we disagree with you, but we don't have our own plan, pardon that, and maybe the president needs to do a little bit better job talking to the American people about it, so that we aren't so scared about Social Security, and we go in with our eyes wide open and address the problem and go fix it.
Well, let's talk impossible problems at home. The property tax debates in the legislature. The property tax debates divide rural versus urban, gaming, residential properties, small businesses. What's gaming's position? Obviously, they've had the same swelling of tax costs that everyone else has. Do they have to get some tax breaks in order for them to be satisfied with the answer that comes out of this?
Well, I don't think so, but I think that creates a bigger question, which is, a lot of people haven't focused on the fact, given the governor's $300 million rebate, that we have between surplus and new money almost $2 billion. This is unprecedented. Now, that has, of course, led to two things: a feeding frenzy of how to spend it, and some a little more low-key discussions of how to give some of it back. But I think that also drives to the point of how it was created. And it wasn't created from the new taxes that were passed in the last legislature. Most of the business taxes and such hit the numbers that they were budgeted to hit. This has almost been totally driven by gaming tax and sales tax driven by the gaming industry. So logically, some might say, well, the gaming industry should get some break. Even though I represent them, I would tell you that's probably not a very popular position.
But long-term for gaming, they want to obviously spread the tax base. They want it not to be 70% or 60% coming from gaming. If property taxes are lowered, that puts more pressure on gaming in the public sector when they go to make up that money somewhere else years down the road.
Well, that certainly is one theory, but I also think that the gaming industry, it has their finger kind of on the pulse of politics as well. And this is a groundswell for property tax relief, primarily in Las Vegas, but certainly in pockets of this community too. Yeah. But as Scott pointed out, I mean, people have to go slow, because we have 17 different counties in this state, 13 of which are on any one day, $1 away from bankruptcy. Yep. If you cap property tax assessment, which in a sense caps revenues to some of these states, we're going to have a giant fiscal problem. The problem is, too, is if the rural counties begin to have revenue problems, they have to be made up by the bigger counties. So this isn't something where people in Washoe County or people in Clark County can say, I really don't care about the rules, we're going to fix our problem, because it's going to become their problem very quickly.
Quick answer. What did you think of the Las Vegas Review-Journal's idea in their editorial of adjusting the ratio to just lower the ratio? Going from like 35% of assessed value, making it a lower ratio. Well, and in places where there will be a problem, raising the ratio.
Yeah, I think that's certainly one example of an issue, or I mean, of a solution. The problem that you have, and it's kind of hard to talk about this as a problem, but in our Constitution, we have a uniform clause for property tax assessment. The problem with that is that, and the problem with the cap, quite frankly, too, is if I have a $100,000 house that grew 5% in assessed value, and Scott's living in his $1 million mansion that had a 30% increase, and we cap it at 6%, who got the tax break? Me in my $100,000 house, or Scott in his $1 million mansion? That's the issue. Then at a cap, it's not uniform, and it could, technically run afoul of the Constitution. So there's no easy solution, and the one by the Review-Journal has the same basic constitutional problems as a cap.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with Pete Ernaut. Another segment coming up right after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Sunbelt Communication.
If it's hot, it's here at the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill has over 500 of the hottest video theme slots. And with the $100,000 Winter Video Theme Slot Fest, there's no smarter time to play these winning machines. Win your share of the money with $2,000 random cash giveaways every Monday and $5,000 drawings every Friday. And new players can get up to $100 free play.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back with Pete Ernaut here on Nevada Newsmakers.
Let's go to the Millennium Scholarship. You were the chief of staff for the governor when you started that. It's a wonderful program.
Thanks.
But now that it's kind of run out of its revenue source, one of the big problems we have is how we're going to continue it, if we're going to continue it. Borrowing $100 million so we can continue it, that we literally spend over 10 years and pay out over 40. What kind of fiscal policy is that?
Well, I think clearly the math may not work on that, but I think that the governor is busy at work sharpening his pencil to figure out some other methods. I think the easiest thing, and maybe where we ultimately end up, is, since we have such a great surplus in this session, is just taking a chunk of money, and I think it's probably in the $30 to $35 million range, and just endow the Millennium Scholarship going forward. I think we owe it to the people of the state of Nevada. This is probably the most popular and well-utilized public policy in the history of the state. I don't want to see it tinkered with where we start doing means testing and we start putting too many restrictions on getting money. That runs counter to what we're trying to create here. This is a system where we tell kids in this state, if you work hard and you achieve this level, you're going to go to college. And I think that the more complex we make that, we'll destroy it.
I assume this is a yes, but is this a to die for issue for the governor?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I got to tell you, just personally, I have a lot invested in Millennium Scholarship, something that I'm very, very proud of being part of. And whatever I can do along the way.
With the pace you're going, you're going to have like 11 kids, so you're going to...
Yeah, it's self-preservation.
Speaker Perkins, Senator Titus, both obviously running for governor. How is this going to affect things in the legislature?
Well, it's certainly making it more exciting, but I think that both Speaker Perkins and Minority Leader Titus are professionals, and they may have some disagreements along the way. They may be a little competitive at times, but I think they're going to get to the business of the people of the state and put those things behind them rather quickly, and I don't see that it's going to be a big issue.
What about if Phil Slattery were to jump into the race?
Well, it certainly changed the dynamic. I mean, Phil is a very successful, well-liked executive, and I think it would change the dynamic greatly. Whether he will or not, of course, is another issue. But you know, Phil is a good man. I think he has a lot of friends in the state
and in the gaming industry.
Well, yeah, obviously he comes from the gaming industry, so I imagine over the course of the last few years, he's built up some great friendships among the executives.
You're on the board of directors for Caesars Entertainment. You're involved in a buyout by Harrah's. Obviously, Mandalay Bay, MGM is purchasing them. The state and federal regulators look like they're going to approve both of those. But down the road, their analysts are just calling for more and more of these. They like the synergy. They like the bump in the stock price, I'm sure. When will we know when enough is too much, when we've gone too far with these? What are the signs that we'll see when this consolidation starts to hurt our economy?
Well, first of all, I don't think further consolidation is really possible. I mean, there's really nothing left. The only other thing out there, of course, is Stations Casino, and that's more of a local neighborhood casino company, and I don't know that ever would become a fit with the mega resorts. But between MGM acquiring Mandalay and Harrah's acquiring our company, you know, there's just really not a heck of a lot out there. And of course, neither one of them could acquire each other because you'd have a market share issue there. So I think this is probably the end of the mega mergers in the gaming industry. There may be some smaller ones along the way, but you know, I think over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, it'll prove to be a vital component of our economy. So I don't see a big downside as long as everybody acts properly and ethically, and everyone treats the vendors and such with a fair hand. I think it's a great thing for our economy.
Do you have any concerns about that?
No, but I just, you know, given Scott's leading question that there may be problems, I think those are the problems that most people point to.
Okay, what do you think about the opening of Macau and what that's going to mean for the Silver States gaming?
Well, those that have properties there, means a lot to them. Of course, Sheldon Adelson, his property there, the Sands in Macau, I think is clearing somewhere between $1.5 million and $2 million a day.
It's phenomenal.
So yeah, it's great for them. And it has no competition to Las Vegas. It's two totally different things.
But do you think it's going to result in seeing a lot of people being flipped from Macau, like they were from Atlantic City? When Atlantic City opened up, they said, oh, it's going to kill Nevada, and it ended up just having people go there and say, yeah, well, this is great, now we're going to go to the real thing.
Oh, I think so. But I mean, you know, I understand that's half a world away. I mean, you got to really want to go to Macau. I mean, it is a long ways from here.
It is.
But I think it's great. I mean, the one thing it's going to prove, I think, is the Nevada-based companies that are doing business there are going to make a lot of money, and that money, I think, is going to translate into capital right back here at home to improve the products, build new resorts, improve the resorts they have, and I think that money is going to really drive the Nevada economy through the roof. So I'm really excited about the prospects of Macau and what it means in Nevada.
One of the long-term problems that Nevada faces are initiatives and what's happening there. Arizona, for example, they have a $17 billion budget. The legislature only appropriates $4 billion of it. California, only 19% of their budget is left for the legislature to do. What can we do in Nevada so that we avoid that crisis happening here? How do we, for example, get through this property tax issue so that we don't end up with initiatives ruling every policy decision?
Well, that's a tough issue, but I'll tell you one thing. I think the initiative process has been born of a couple things, with the frustration of the inaction of the legislature. I think over the course of the last 3 or 4 sessions, you know, some of the tougher issues have not been tackled. And I think when there's a void in leadership, the people lash out. I think this session, though, and I think Speaker Perkins really set the tone at the start of the session of saying, you know, we need to get back to doing the people's business. And there's some great folks there. You know, Speaker Perkins and Bill Raggio and Dina Titus and Barbara Buckley and, you know, some folks that have some experience. They have the best interest of the state in mind. Clearly some are Democrats, some are Republicans. They're going to have some disagreements. But I think those people can elevate this legislature back to the place where where it made good, tough decisions responsibly, and I think that's probably the best antidote to the initiative process.
But do you not see it as still being a very contentious session?
No, I don't see a contentious session at all. I think this is going to be a session of rehabilitation and rebuilding relationships that have been frayed over the last couple of sessions.
Well, there's the quote of the day.
I believe so. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, joined by a great Power Pundit panel today. Bilyeu joins us.
Morning.
And Chris Wicker. And helping us out in the Pundit panel today, Tom Stevens. Thanks very much for being here. Got to ask you, story a couple of days ago in the Las Vegas Sun from Cy Ryan about Bob Beers wanting to pull the dental school. Is this some kind of payback for Mr. Rawson?
Well, yeah. To me, it's kind of apparent. I mean, what can you say except why else would he be doing that?
Do you think it stands a prayer of happening?
I think an education facility is so important to community that he would be pulling it. It'd be worse than pulling teeth, if I could use an analogy.
Good analogy. It's implanted there, and it's
implanted,
and it's going to stay there.
I agree.
You concur. Okay. Concurring is not necessarily good. Okay. Big news yesterday was that the Federal Trade Commission approved the MGM Mirage Mandalay Bay merger, and this I take it to mean that will mean that the Harrah's merger will also go through. What do you think is the profound effect on the state of Nevada from this?
Well, Steve Wynn says that less competition is not good. And of course, they're just taking up whole parts of the Strip. I mean, when you're down at the corner of Tropicana and the Strip, you're going to go from the Mirage over to New York, across the street to the Luxor, and the Excalibur and Mandalay Bay. That whole end of the Strip is going to be under one ownership.
Well, not only that, but I mean, MGM is also going forward with their plans for the Boardwalk property, which is $6.5 billion project.
I don't get terribly exercised about the concept of a monopoly on gaming. I mean, it just doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, if you're talking about a monopoly on and something in a truly public service area, I might get upset. But a monopoly on gaming, excuse me.
Well, I do kind of have a problem with that, because I think what you're going to see, I'm looking more of its impact on politics in this state. And if you have absolutely one or two big players, it's going to be an even, in my opinion, a worse significant influence than when you have like a group coming together as an association, but they still have some divergent interests. But if you have two big players and that's all you have, I think it's going to have a profound effect on politics, and not in a good way. I think it's going to be a couple of decision makers really favoring somebody and not favoring others.
As opposed to our present system where we have a couple of big decision makers making basically all the decisions.
Okay, but the case has been made that you're not going to shut up the Sheldon Adelsons, you're not going to shut up the Steve Wynns, you're not going to shut up Stations Casinos. So does that give you enough balance there in Coast or Boyd Group and Coast?
I think time will tell. The resources of those two new companies are going to just be huge.
They're going to be huge and to an extent monopolistic. But then there is also the potential other aspect of it is if they begin to try to shove their weight around too much, then the public may rebel.
Of course, the MGM Mandalay is really owned by or controlled by one person, Kirk Kerkorian, and Terry Lanning works for him, and so they have a very unified direction on whatever they're going to do and wherever they're going to go. Whereas the Harris Group is basically a stockholders type of thing. So you may have a little bit different aspect.
But politicians just have less stops to go get money.
Well, I think that's my point exactly.
Well, on a broader basis, is the 800-pound gorilla the prospect that within the decade we could see gross receipts coming back?
I don't think gross receipts has ever gone away. I think gross receipts is still in the background, and it's going to pop up whenever the gaming industry feels they have the political muscle to do it.
Well, and I wonder a little bit because I do think that Nevada is becoming much more diverse, and the more diverse Nevada becomes, I think the less power that side's going to have.
I think you got to worry about the competition with all the Indian gaming and all the things out of state. So you can't put a taxing situation in place that's really going to hurt the casino industry. On the other hand, they're the major industry in Nevada, so they've certainly got to bear a big share of it.
But one danger that the state of Nevada has in terms of our dependency, that we still are dependent upon gaming a great deal, long range, with the outgrowth of casino gaming, Indian gaming, if you will, and the involvement of existing players on the Nevada scene. They're going into management agreements, quasi-ownership agreements on those things, and as gaming proliferates across the United States, they will, to a certain extent, move their resources from Nevada if Nevada no longer proves profitable to them.
Well, I think what's going to happen, and I just heard a report on this, that there's going to be two Nevadas as far as gaming. There's going to be Northern Nevada, which will suffer from Indian gaming, and Las Vegas, which, by all accounts I've seen, prospers even more from Indian gaming because they're creating brand new customers around the country.
Unless, of course, Northern Nevada gamers hook up with Native American tribes. That could be one solution. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I like this pundit panel so much, we're going to put them up this weekend at the Nevada Newsmakers Hotel and bring them back on Monday. We'll see you then with John Sandy. Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers.